Nothing can stand on my way. I'm going up from here. Now I have my machine. They were saying that it was supposed to take 2 to 4 months. So I had to call in and was like, I don't have 2 to 4 months. Yes, I know I've been struggling with this for years, but as you get older, your body starts like, and it doesn't handle as much as it used to handle anymore. So, and then they had machine, and they were telling me that, there's people on the waiting list, they're backed up. One of the, suppliers, had a recall, so they have more orders than they have machines being made or available, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call back again. And I was simultaneously taking it to God in prayer because I want to start sleeping on time. Like, that is one of the reasons what I've had to leave job before, because it was breaking my body and I feel like I was dying. Imagine not sleeping and doing a job every day that requires strength, physical strength and energy, and a lot of moving around and working in a cold for a really long time and getting up and down from a van and picking up heavy boxes. So that's one of the reasons why I originally had to leave 40 acres, because it was killing my body, right? I had to self-care, choose that you can't love a company so much more than you love yourself. Okay. Like, you only have one body. I had to come to that love and choice of little things of self-care through therapy, and realizing I really don't consider myself like I would consider somebody else. Some of the advice I would say to someone else, I wasn't really taking those advice for myself because I was very self-sacrificial. No more. No more. No more. But not only that, it's not just doing the self-care, but choosing that, look, I know y'all the doctors, but y'all need to listen, because I'm telling you what my body's going through, and you trying to tell me as to why I don't fit here. This doesn't fit. I'm telling you what I've been experiencing for years. So to have finally getting what I needed, just to find out all this time I wasn't crazy, I wasn't making it up, it wasn't just depression. My body literally have been trying to keep me awake. Awake so that it could keep me alive. Come on, man. And then, so when the PCOS situation came, because my testosterone is too high, I'm figuring out like some of the effects can be, sleep apnea or insomnia or whatnot. And the weight gain, most of it had less to do with you eat crap. It has to do with your hormones being imbalanced. So the other day, I went to see my doctor for follow-up, my primary care, and I was catching her up on all the referrals, all the things that I did in between the last time I saw her, the first time I saw her, and in between. And then she, was updating my chart, and she agreed. She decided that because I had to see an eye doctor because I had infected my eye with shrimp, I infected my eye with shrimp on Thanksgiving last year, y'all. And I had to go to the ER. I had posted it on Instagram. But they were saying that they thought they saw early cataract, and I was too young for that, but I don't need glasses, but check my sugar level. So when I told my doctor, she was like, last time we checked your sugar, it was, that's what she said. Show her the chart. And she was like, all right. So she decided to run my sugar, and she decided to also do another blood test to make sure my liver is okay, my kidneys okay, and my hormone levels again. She checked them and she gave me the results the other day. And she was like, yeah, your testosterone is way too high. So more than likely the OBGYN is right. She said, you're more than likely right. It's probably PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. And I think there's so much that goes into it. I'm going to try to put it up here somewhere to give you like the different things that it could cause, like gain weight, insulin, what is it called? Insulin resistance, where you're more likely to be pre-diabetic. So that's one of the reasons why I was really encouraging my doctor to also run my sugar, because it may not be because I'm doing something wrong, but it could also be because of PCOS. I don't know what caused PCOS. I think they say some people are just born with it. And one of the issue most people can have is that they may not be able to have kids. And it's funny because for a really long time, not having a period, I think somewhere around in my subconscious, I settled in that I may not be able to have kids. And I've made myself believe that I no longer want them, which makes no sense because I love kids, and I ended up developing this weird fear for babies and unable to take care of them and being adopted and not really knowing who you come from, because I was adopted at 9 months. My biological mother died when I was a baby. And the story that I was told was she basically died due to another baby after me she was carrying. I don't know how true that is, but a lot of different things made me think, like, could she have been sick? Like, what if I have what she have, whatever that she has? Like, a lot of things goes into your mental of that you blame yourself regarding certain things that's not even your fault. Your body is like over here fighting for its life, doing the best that it can to keep you alive. And you're seeing specialists and people who are supposed to be going to school for these things, and they act like it's going to cost them money out of their pocket to give you a referral or to give you what you need. And all they want to do is like shove potential medication down your throat, when all it took was to give me a referral to see a specialist so that I can get the proper diagnosis, so I can get the help I need. You mean to tell me all I needed was a sleep study to prove that I have sleep apnea so I could get my CPAP machine? You mean to tell me all you had to do was do a blood test to see my testosterone level, to know that, like, and even then, they don't really give you a result how to deal with it. Like, my doctor now was like, with my like, she didn't say anything about the testosterone being too high. As far as like what to do about it, it was me doing research, finding that, like, if you have PCOS, you more likely should stay away from gluten. You should be dairy free, and you're more likely insulin resistant or pre-diabetic. That was one of the reasons why I was pushing her to take it, because I wanted to see if I was insulin resistant or if that had changed from the last time that it happened, considering I'm getting older or my diet had been not the best because of work and things like that. So, and fair enough, is the number low? Yes, it is low, but it is showing that I'm in the borderline of being pre-diabetic. Am I claiming that for myself? No. Am I scared? No, I'm actually extremely excited that I know what's happening, what I've been fighting. My body has been fighting all the time. I'm very proud of my body to have gone through all of that. Childhood trauma is one thing. There are things that has happened in my childhood that nobody in my family knows, that only my therapist know about. And my therapist has called me a true fighter to still have the mindset that I have now, to still be the type of person that I have now. So trauma is one thing, trying to survive is one thing, but your body physically trying to survive because it doesn't have what it needs, or you're feeding it what seems normal to everybody else, what seems good to everybody else, but because you're sensitive to it, it's like war. Is a whole another fight. You know what I mean? Like, I have food allergies, and it's allergies to things that even if I were to go vegan, that more than likely will be in most of the vegetarian vegan things. Soy, nuts. More than likely will be in most of the vegan things. So that's not even necessarily the thing. So it's my by research, I'm like, okay, now I may have to go gluten free. Gluten is a protein that is in wheat. Most things made out of wheat more than likely is gluten. Gluten free, things that like bread, the texture is different. It tastes differently. It's not. So learning to figure this all out now, I am grateful that I get to do that now. I'm grateful that I didn't die in my sleep. I'm grateful that I'm still alive. I'm grateful that it's not cervical cancer. I'm grateful that my liver is good and my kidney is good. I'm grateful that, I don't know, I didn't lose my mind. I'm grateful that It's only was circumstantial depression and everyday anxiety, which is now low because I've learned tools to cope with it. And I know what to call it. I know when it shows up and how it shows up. I am grateful for access to healthcare that allowed me to see a therapist to explain to me what was going on in my brain and my emotions and how much trauma I had to deal with it and how much of my fault it wasn't. I am grateful for the tools of considering myself and caring and loving myself enough to look at these doctors straight up in the face and be like, no, I am not doing that. What I need from you is X, Y, and Z. Or to be like, I understand what you mean, but I'm not doing that again if it means only this. Is there something else? And for them to like, yeah, actually there is something else. I'm grateful for, the fight for me to get the things that I need. The good news right now is that when my primary care called me most recently to give me the result of the tests with the testosterone, last time I took it, I think she said it was at, the results she got from the OBGYN, it was at 160 something. Normal one apparently supposed to be below 60. I was at 160 something. That was in February. Immediately, I start to try to go gluten-free and dairy-free based on my research. Immediately. Well, as of just last week, when I took the test with her again, I went down to 120 something. So she said, whatever it is that you're doing, it's working. So had I not researched, I would not have known to do that. I would have just accepted what the OBGYN said. It was like, well, there's nothing you can really do about it unless you're trying to have children right now or you want to go on birth control pills to regulate your period. Meanwhile, birth control pills are giving other side effects. I've tried birth control pills and it did me more wrong than good. So I said, no, I'm not going to go on birth control pills. And I'm not trying to have children at the moment. If it ever comes where I am married and this is something that, I can find something that my body can handle for the sake of having children, then so be it. But for right now, I'm not feeding my body stuff just to try to do something, and that's not the problem. So this is where we're at. And the reason why I really wanted to share this, because I feel like there's somebody out there who feel like they're fighting an unknown, invisible enemy. And if you have access to being able to do something about it, please don't just take whatever they say when you know it's more. You may have to push a little bit more. You may have to advocate for yourself a little bit more or more clearer and make it clear. Do your research first so that you know what you're talking about. Ask the questions. Do your research. So like when you pull up to these doctors, you're like, look, I heard about X, Y, and Z, and I want to make sure I want to rule that out. And if it's possible, I would like to take this test, because it's not coming out of these doctors' pocket if your insurance is paying for it. Like, it didn't make any sense why a doctor would deny you of a test that may be able to rule something out. That is, I'm not asking you to take a heart test. I'm asking you to take a test that seems to align with what my body's experiencing. Just because it wasn't your suggestion doesn't mean it's a bad idea. And clearly it wasn't, because the test came back. Once I reached the sleep doctor, they're looking at me like, why haven't you been here before? Because clearly you have all the things that shows that you more than likely have this. They literally diagnosed it before I took the test. And the lady was so sure it was sleep apnea, the sleep doctor. She said, and even if, because I took the home test, she was like, even if the home test can come out negative, we're going to make you come to the office and allow you to take one in the lab, because we're not going to trust it. Because based on what you say, if you're telling the truth, you more than likely have sleep apnea. Guarantee it. And she wasn't lying. The results came. I've had many, many years and many, many nights where, and that night, even with the test, I only slept for 3 hours and it stopped recording, but they still had enough because they only need about an hour frame to see how many times, if you stop breathing at all and anything past a certain number is, whatever. Mine is moderate. So it's in the middle. But either way, it doesn't matter if it's mild or moderate or high. Mild, stopping to breathe at all, even if it's once per hour, it shouldn't be a thing at all. But guess what? I may not have fully fit the demographic. Yeah, I may have trying to pass it on to, it's just weight gain. Yeah, when your body's fighting hormone imbalance almost 5 times the amount that it should be, then I don't know what y'all want from me. And I wouldn't have known all this had I not done my research, had I not asked the right question, had I not pushed for them to give me what I needed. And yeah. So with that being said, listen, advocate for yourself. Tell these doctors no. Tell them give you what you need. And that goes for anything really. Like if you know, and even if you don't know, if it's not something, if you're not asking for the impossible, you're not being, disrespectful, you're asking for something that is within the, the line of what, can be true, then yeah, once again, it didn't cost her anything to run that referral and give it to me. Nothing. Because I saw a specialist after that. So, with that being said, y'all, take care of yourself. Be well out here. Because if you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. Deuces.